it. So I was originally an interior designer. So as you see here in the beginning in 2006 in Lebanon, I did studies in interior design. Then in 2009, I went to Paris in order to do my master's in interior design. I spent 3 years in Paris. And then after I did my master's there, I went back to Lebanon where I worked in interior design for about 5 years. And when I was working in Lebanon, I got to know the surfing community. I had never heard of it before, so it really interested me because of all the fun events. So I became a couchsurfing organizer in Lebanon for 2 years, between 2016 and 2017. And basically, I organized lots of fun events, hangouts, language exchange, cultural exchange, all these kinds of stuff. And this is where I began to have more and more interest in the tourism business and in marketing. And this is why in 2018, I went back to France, but this time not Paris, but to Bordeaux in order to study, just a second. Yeah, in order to study digital marketing. So basically, I came to Bordeaux in 2018. I did 1 year of masters in digital marketing, and now in Bordeaux, I work in two different, I work in Cite du Vin, like the picture on the right. I'm going to be talking about it during my presentation, and also at the same time, because I speak Italian, I also do guided tours with an Italian website called Informa Giovani Italia. Basically, it's a website, tourism website that they have a guide in basically every city of Europe, and I am their guide in Bordeaux. So whenever Italians want to visit Bordeaux and need a guided tour, so this is what I do with this website. So just tell you a bit about myself. What are my passions? What I like to do? So I like to travel a lot. Solo traveling is very important for me. I love to travel with friends, but also I love to travel on my own to meet people, to sleep in hostels. It's something very important for me. I also love reading. You see all the books here. I have like double this number just in front of me. I love reading a lot of books. Poetry, it's something that I love also. And one of the most amazing things for me is storytelling and discussing life. Perhaps one day I'll do an event about it. I love to meet people and just discuss their point of view about life, to share stories, to know their stories about life. It's something very interesting for me. In addition to all like hiking and all these activities, adventures. And whenever I go on any trip, like you see the picture to the bottom right, this picture I took it in Paris. I always try to find the hidden gems in every city. Like when I go to Paris, I don't go to the Eiffel Tower. To be honest, I lived in Paris for 3 years and I never went to the top of the Eiffel Tower. I never cared about going up. I go to visit these abandoned train stations, train rails. For me, it's something very interesting to really visit the hidden gems in every city. In addition to spirituality, meditation. For this, I'm not gonna talk a lot because I can talk for hours about the subject, how I got into spirituality. Perhaps one day I will do an event about it, but for now, I'm just gonna keep it like this. And to end, I am a big fan of Star Trek. So it's not only because of the science fiction, but because for me, Star Trek is like the series that teaches me everything about life, about existence, different levels of existence, time paradox, self-development, relationships. For me, Star Trek is life. And on my YouTube channel, I began publishing new videos where I talk about all the life lessons you can learn from Star Trek. So just to tell you before I finish talking about myself, so I have a blog called Wanderer's Footsteps online where I publish different kinds of articles or also poems that I write that I call chill reflections. So basically like the one you see on the right here, I just sometimes at night I put calm music and I begin writing anything that comes to my mind, some small stories, some poems, and I post them on my blog. And because we had the lockdown that started in March, so thanks to the lockdown anyway, I got the time to accomplish a dream that I always wanted to do, which is to launch a YouTube channel. So last month, March, I launched my YouTube channel, Wanderer Footsteps, where I publish videos about different subjects. such as the books that I read, mythologies, everything connected to life, self-development, motivation, and all these subjects. And also I talk with people who have like really some beautiful stories to share. If they want to share them with me, like we can do a video together. I love to share people's stories on my YouTube channel. So basically, this is about me, and now we can head to discover France's Sleeping Beauty, Bordeaux. And just to tell you before, like, why do they call it France's Sleeping Beauty? Because Bordeaux is really a very beautiful city, actually. However, it is not very well known. Because, like, whenever someone talks about France, everyone like thinks about Paris, about Lyon, but there aren't many people who think about Bordeaux. So this is why they call it the Sleeping Beauty, even though Bordeaux is a city that has so much to offer, as we're going to see in this presentation. And hopefully we'll have more and more tourists over the year. So how am I gonna present Bordeaux to you? I divided my presentation into 6 parts. So first of all, I'm gonna be talking a little bit about the history of Bordeaux. I'm not gonna give a history lesson today, just a little bit to know how Bordeaux became what it is now. Then I'm gonna be telling you the reasons why you should visit Bordeaux. Then I'm gonna be telling you about all the landmarks and the places to visit. There are lots of places to visit in Bordeaux, but in the presentation I put like the main ones. I cannot talk about all of them because there are lots of stuff you can visit in the city. Then of course a most important subject, which is the food, what is like the typical food of Bordeaux. And the 5th part, which is this one here, where it's written Destination pour tous. This is a subject that is for me very important because we always think when you go to travel in different cities, we like the cities, we see what we can visit, but we forget that there are millions of tourists who are people who have special needs. And basically, Bordeaux, for the second time in a row, has been chosen in France as a destination pour tous, which means destination for everyone, which means that Bordeaux, most of its landmarks are accessible for all people with needs, who are like, there are lots of tourists who come to the city and can access most of the museums, most of the places. So I'd like to talk about this subject because I find it very important. And at the end, I will finish with some bonus about some stuff that you can do around the city of Bordeaux. So let's begin. So this is a map. As you see here, you have the red arrow. So this is Bordeaux to the south of France. Bordeaux has its own airport. And also, if you are in Paris and want to come to Bordeaux, you can easily take what we call a TGV. It's the high-speed train, actually, and that connects Paris to Bordeaux in 2 hours. So in 2 hours, you can come from Paris to Bordeaux to the Gare Saint-Jean. And all this area, the colored area around Bordeaux, is called La Gironde. It's like the department where Bordeaux is. And as you know, Bordeaux is very well known for the wine. Wine is very important in Bordeaux. So here, the writing is not very clear. I'm gonna read it for you. All the colored areas are the areas where wine is produced. So basically, the red and violet areas are where the red wine is produced. Then these areas, like where it's pink, it's where the rosé is produced. And then the green areas is where the white wine is produced, the white dry wine. And then the yellow and the orange areas are where we produce the white sweet wine. So basically, as you can see, Bordeaux is really surrounded by vineyards all over. It's really a region where, like the main region in France where wine is produced. And if you look at the map to the top right, you will see that Bordeaux is also very close to the ocean. So you have the Atlantic Ocean to the left. So from Bordeaux, you only need like 40 to 45 minutes by train or by car, and you will be at the ocean, and you have amazing beaches in order to swim. I will be talking about them later on. And all around Bordeaux, all these areas that are colored are filled with amazing villages that you can visit. Like really, it's been 3 years that I've been living in Bordeaux, and until now, I wasn't able to visit everything I want to visit. There are lots of amazing villages. For someone who lives in Bordeaux, what I do is that every weekend, but now we cannot do it because it's locked down, I just take a train and visit a new village. So now a bit of history. This was Bordeaux in the past. So just to tell you that Bordeaux in the past used to be a fortified city. So basically, it had walls all around it. But in the 18th century, the governor of Bordeaux, and also the King Louis XV, decided to demolish all the walls because they wanted the whole world to see Bordeaux as that it's a beautiful city and it's a powerful city. So they demolished all the walls, and this is how Bordeaux became a very important commercial port. So as you can see, you have all the hangars here on the quay, you have all the ships. Bordeaux was an important commercial port. Ships used to come from everywhere in the world with lots of merchandises. The port of Bordeaux was called the Moonport. Why is that? If you see the symbol in red here, wherever you see the symbol, this is the symbol of Bordeaux. Because the river, which is called La Garonne, the river that passes through Bordeaux, if you look from up, let's say you are on a plane, you will see that the river creates 3 arcs around Bordeaux, just like these 3 arcs in the symbol. And this arc represents the moon. So this is why the port of Bordeaux used to be called the Moon Port. Here are also more pictures how Bordeaux used to be in the past. You see all the workers, all the merchandises, all the ships. It used to be really a commercial port. However, one important thing in the 18th century, Bordeaux was a very rich city. Not only because it was a commercial port, but also for another reason. It's a bit of a sad story, but I promise you this is going to be like the only sad story during this presentation. It is because Bordeaux was part of what we call the triangular commerce, actually, which is like the slave trade. Why is it called triangular? Because from this map, actually. So ships in the 18th century used to go from Bordeaux, Africa. And what they do is that they used to exchange merchandises for African people. And then the ships used to go from Africa to the Americas and exchange the African people for merchandises that don't exist in Europe. And then they used to come back to Bordeaux. So this is why it's called the triangular commerce and the slave trade. And this is why Bordeaux was a rich city. It is said that from this slave trade, like there were about 500 trips that were made from Bordeaux to part of this slave trade. So this is part of the history of Bordeaux. There are lots of people here whom, if you ask us a question, they tell you, no, it's not true, but it's all written in the book, so you can just search it. And it's part of the history, and you have to know about it and talk about it. So anyway, this is for the history of Bordeaux. So now this picture shows us how Bordeaux changed from the past to now. So on the picture to the left, you will see how Bordeaux was a commercial port. You see all the ships, all the hangars, all the merchandises. And to the right is Bordeaux, how it is now. You see with all the beautiful parks, the water mirror, you see the touristic ships, all the trees. It's completely different now. But what happened for Bordeaux become this different? What happens that Bordeaux changed from a commercial city, commercial port city, to a touristic city? Basically, in 1995, there was a new mayor of Bordeaux. This guy you see here in the picture, his name is Alain Juppé. In 1995, he became mayor of Bordeaux. And Bordeaux, the port of Bordeaux lost its importance because there were many other ports around Europe that opened that were much bigger than Bordeaux's port. So Bordeaux didn't have any more importance like it used to have in the past. And so this is why this new mayor of Bordeaux decided to change everything. So as you see, along the quay, he destroyed like all the hangars that were present here. Also, they cleaned all the buildings because just to tell you, Bordeaux, when it was a commercial port, all these buildings that you are seeing were all black because of the pollution from the ships that used to come. So when Alain Juppé came to the municipality, they cleaned all the buildings, they did all these parks here, they cleaned all the quay, and Bordeaux began to change completely and to become a city for tourists, for really to live inside it. So this was a bit of a history of Bordeaux. So now I'm gonna pass to tell you why you should visit the city, why Bordeaux is really a city that is a must visit. So first of all, there are many reasons. One of the main reasons is that the historical center of Bordeaux is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. And in Bordeaux, there's really a big pleasure just to walk. So in Bordeaux, there's a tramway, there is no metro. But for me, as someone who has been living in Bordeaux for like 3 years, I rarely take the tramway, or even the bicycle, because it's a big pleasure just to walk in the streets of the city. The streets are so beautiful, the buildings are so beautiful, the architecture is so interesting, so nice. It's really nice, beautiful classical architecture. So it's really a big pleasure just to walk inside the city. In addition to that, is that Bordeaux is very small. Like for me, I can go from one side to another side of Bordeaux just in 1 hour walking. It's really easy. So this is what I'm talking about, like the joy and pleasure of walking. So this is one of the main reasons for me that tourists should come to Bordeaux. You don't even need a car. You can just walk and wander around it for hours and hours and be impressed by all the beauty of the architecture. So the second reason, in case you want to take public transportation, the public transportation, in Bordeaux is very modern and reliable. First of all, I'm gonna talk about the bikes. So as we have these bikes that we call the V-Cube, which are like all the bikes that you can find in most European cities nowadays. The bikes of the municipality, you just put your credit card. The first 30 minutes are free, and then it's like €1.70 for every hour. And there are stations like basically everywhere in Bordeaux. So wherever you take the bike, you can put it in another place. There are stations everywhere. And what's nice that in Bordeaux, there are lots of cycle lanes. It's like, for me, Bordeaux is really a city that is made for bicycles. Like for me, whenever I want to go to work, if it's not raining, I always go to work using these bicycles. It's really safe for bikes, and it's a city made for bicycles. It's really amazing. And the second thing, if I want to talk about other public transportation, so there's also the bus, but I didn't put the picture of it here. I completely forgot about it. But anyway, there's also the tramway. As I told you, in Bordeaux, there is no metro. For a reason, actually, is that in Bordeaux, if they want to do a metro, first of all, it's going to cost a lot. Second of all, it's going to cost a lot because under Bordeaux, under the soil of Bordeaux, there is water, actually, because we have the river Macaron, which is just next to us inside Bordeaux, and we are so close to the ocean. So under Bordeaux, in many parts, there is lots of water, so it's a bit difficult to do a metro. So this is why the municipality decided to do a tramway. And the tramway of Bordeaux is very nice. It can get you basically anywhere you want. There are only 4 lines, so A, B, C, and D. And what I like the most about the tramway of Bordeaux is that, as you can see, this picture to the bottom right, while you are inside it, it's like you have the glass. It's like you are having a sightseeing tour of Bordeaux. So basically, you can just go on a tramway and wander around Bordeaux and visit the whole city and looking at the building. It's really nice from the inside. It's like you are taking a guided tour of the city. So this is about the public transportation in Bordeaux. The third thing why Bordeaux is a must-visit city is because of Camino de Santiago. So I don't know if you all know about it. So for the people who don't know what Camino de Santiago is, just tell you that in this map here to the left, you will see there's Santiago de Compostela. Santiago de Compostela is a pilgrimage place where lots of people, thousands of people go every year from all over Europe and even all over the world. It is said that it's the second place, that is second most visited place by Catholics after the Vatican, after Rome. And basically, there's the pilgrimage like road that people can take from France, from Germany, from different countries in order to arrive to Santiago de Compostela. And Bordeaux is one important step from this road. So basically, in Bordeaux, if you are really looking at the streets, because in my opinion, this is something just I tell you from my experience, whenever I go to any city, it's nice to visit all the touristic stuff, but I mean, it's really important to also look at the streets, look at the details, because the history of every city is written in the small details. So in Bordeaux, if you are walking on the streets, you will see this symbol. On many streets, you will see the symbol everywhere, as you see it here also to the bottom right picture. This symbol is a symbol of Santiago de Compostela. It's a symbol of a seashell. Basically, in the past, pilgrims did not have a GPS like we have now, or Google Maps and all this stuff. So these seashells used to guide them to arrive to Spain. So if you follow these seashells all over Bordeaux and also then to the south of France, you will arrive to Spain and to Santiago de Compostela in about 3 months walking. And you might laugh about it, but I mean, I know lots of people who did it, who walked for 3 months from Bordeaux to Santiago de Compostela. It is something I wanted to do 2 years ago in 2019, but then I went to Italy. But I'm really planning to do next summer. I hope I'll be able to do it. But I'm not going to walk for 3 months, of course. I'm going to start from a village in the north of Spain and walk for 2 weeks in order to arrive to Santiago de Compostela. For me, it's a really beautiful experience. It could be for religious reasons, for self-development, for meditation, for a challenge. There are many reasons, but I think it's a really beautiful thing to do. So Bordeaux is a very important step of the Camino de Santiago. So this is one more reason. Another reason why you should visit Bordeaux is for the quality of life. Let me tell you that Bordeaux is a very relaxing city. Like really, Bordeaux is not as stressful as Paris, for example. I lived in Paris for 3 years and I love Paris. It's very beautiful. But after living in Bordeaux, I would not live in Paris anymore because in Bordeaux, there is no stress. People are happy. And as you can see in the pictures, there are lots of nice stuff to do. So for example, you have lots of parks in Bordeaux that you can visit. And in addition to that, let's say you have a beautiful day, a sunny day where you want to just go out with your friends. You can just go have a picnic. You can go sit on one of the terraces in one of the squares of Bordeaux. You can just take a bicycle, go take a ride along the way. There are really lots of things that you can do. Really relaxing, and also people are so for me, compared to Paris, people are always smiling here, so it's really good. And just tell you something, that there are lots of people who are moving from other cities to Paris to enjoy all over the world. In addition to all this, summer in Bordeaux is very nice because other than all the places that you can visit, that you can do the activities, there are lots of concerts and activities and events happening all the time. It's a very vibrant city. So the pictures you see to the right, these are dance courses that happen in Bordeaux every summer. They are all for free actually. So along the quay, they are called dansons sur les quais. It's like let's dance on the quay. So there's a coach and people from everywhere. They just come and they dance with each other. You have a coach that teaches you all the dance moves. It happens like every week during summer for like 3 months. In addition to lots of other events and concerts. The one you see to the bottom left, this is the wine festival that happens every year, every summer in Bordeaux, where you have many touristic ships that come and you have wine from all over France. Actually, it lasts. I think I don't remember right, but I think it stays for 1 week or 2 weeks with music, concerts, wine, food. It's really amazing festival that happens every year in Bordeaux, the wine festival. And another also. Like reason to come to Bordeaux is a vibrant nightlife, as I said, because as I told you, Bordeaux is a very student city. So there are lots of bars, lots of cafes, and as you can see, the pictures I put to the right are pictures from our international events in Bordeaux. Like the last events we had just before the lockdown. After that, we didn't have any events, and you see the pictures. There are lots of people. The bars in Bordeaux are literally like this. So if you go out on a Thursday or a Friday or Saturday, this is what you're going to see. There are lots of bars. People are everywhere. You can go do bar hopping, like go from a nightclub to a bar. It's a really vibrant city. People are singing on the streets. I just love walking around Bordeaux at night when it's not lockdown and no COVID, because it's really nice to see and to visit and to see all the life inside this city. Let's see what else. Yes. So also another reason to visit Bordeaux is that whenever you visit the Bordeaux, this is something I tell people. So you need, let's say, 2 days or 3 days to really see everything in Bordeaux. But if you have time to add a few more days, it's nice because Bordeaux, the location of Bordeaux is just perfect. It is surrounded by amazing places, as I told you in the beginning. So as you see, like for example, the square to the right, the red square, it's written here Saint Emilion. So Saint Emilion is like the wine village. Basically, this is like, for me, whenever someone comes to Bordeaux, or let's say the Italian tourists, when they tell me, where do you think you should go outside Bordeaux? the first thing I tell them is Saint-Emilion. It's like the wine village is so beautiful. You can visit it for a few hours and then come back to Bordeaux. I will show you some pictures of it later. And to the left, you have the Atlantic Ocean. So to the north of Bordeaux, you have the Médoc. Here you can find some amazing, really amazingly beautiful beaches where you can swim, and also some very beautiful villages that you can visit by car or by train. And same thing for Arcachon and Cap Ferret, where you have some amazing beaches and also some beautiful cities and villages. And all of these places can be, you can reach them by train or by car, or also there are buses that connect Bordeaux to Médoc. So you can take public transportation to reach them all. So let's see here. So this is Saint-Emilion. Saint-Emilion, as I told you, is a village of wine. As I told you, I always encourage people to go visit it. It's a small village, as you can see. So you have the city center of it. And then all around it, you have vineyards and chateau of wine. This is where you can see. So basically, when you are there, you look to the right, you look to the right, to the left, everywhere, you will only see vineyards all around you. As this picture here, it's only 30 minutes by train from Bordeaux, and the train tickets, if I remember right, cost only €7, so it's not expensive at all. And what's beautiful is that, I mean, in Bordeaux, you can learn a lot about wine, but if you really want to learn the truth or everything you want about wine, in my opinion, I always encourage people to visit Saint-Emilion, because in Saint-Emilion, you can go to the tourism office and book a guided tour inside a wine chateau. So you go to the wine chateaus, you see all the procedure, all the steps into making the wine, you visit the chateau. It's really amazing. This is something you cannot do inside Bordeaux, but you can do it, however, in Saint-Emilion. Other than this, the places that are close to Bordeaux, and this is why Bordeaux is very nice to visit, are Arcachon and Dune de Pilat. So basically, Arcachon is the picture to the top right and the bottom left. Basically, just marvelous beaches. You have the Atlantic Ocean. You can swim all you want. Like during last summer, I used to go every weekend. I just take the train. So basically, from Bordeaux to the beach, it's like 40 minutes by train. The train ticket costs about like €10. Sometimes it costs less. It depends how when do you book it. But it's very nice to spend the day there, to stay until sunset, and then to go back to Bordeaux. Really amazing beaches. And one important thing is the Dune de Pilat. Dune de Pilat is actually what you see here to the right, to the bottom right. It's like the biggest sand dune of Europe. It's so amazing to climb, actually, to walk up. There are no elevators, nothing. So basically, you just have to walk. It is close to Arcachon. So usually when I go there, if I go with friends, we have a car. So from Arcachon, it's like a few minutes. We arrive to Dune de Pilat. We go up, and what's beautiful is that when you are on the top, if you look back, you will see this huge forest behind you. And then if you look in front of you, you will see all the Atlantic Ocean. And why did I put this picture of the wine? Because in my opinion, if you really want to enjoy a great, let's say, a great visit to the Dune de Pilat, you have to take a bottle of wine with you and stay there until sunset, enjoy the sunset while drinking wine. And this picture, I took it, I had friends who came from Germany like 3 months ago, and we went to the Dune de Pilat. We stayed until like 10 p.m. there with our bottle of wine until there were no more sun, and this is where we took the car back to Bordeaux. Here are some other pictures of places that are very close to Bordeaux also. So here you have the Porge beach. This is where I told you the north of Bordeaux, you go to the Médoc, and you have some amazing beaches. To the right, you have Cognac. Cognac is a village that is similar to Saint-Emilion. To be honest, I never visited before, but it's on my bucket list. I'm planning to visit it just when the corona, like after the lockdown ends. But it's a bit farther, like Saint-Emilion is about 30 minutes, but Cognac is about like 1 hour and a half. But it's also an amazing village to visit. You have also Cap Ferret, amazing beaches, and Saint Sebastian, which is in Spain. But as you know, Bordeaux is to the south of France. So from Bordeaux, you only need 2 hours approximately, and you will arrive to Saint Sebastian. I went there like 1 year ago, and it's a really amazing destination. I know many people who go every Friday to Saint Sebastian and then come back on Sunday to Bordeaux, because it's so close. If you have a car, you only need 2 hours. You go to Spain, you spend the weekend, and then you come back. And just to finish this part, you have also Bayonne, Biarritz, and Saint-Jean-de-Luz, also amazing villages and beach destinations to visit around Bordeaux. These are a bit farther, so you need to take a train for like an hour, but they are worth the visit. I did this visit a few months ago in the end of last summer, 2020. I took a hotel in Bayonne, and every day I used to take, like one day I took a train, I went to Biarritz, I spent the day there. Another day I took the train, I went to Saint-Jean-de-Luz, all amazing places and very close to Bordeaux. So here are a few of the reasons why Bordeaux is a city that is a must visit. So now that you are in Bordeaux, you arrive to Bordeaux, what should you visit? So let's begin with the most important landmarks of the city. So basically, the first thing that everyone thinks of whenever they arrive to Bordeaux is the Cite du Vin. Cite du Vin is translated to wine city in English. So basically, it's a big museum. It was opened like a few years ago in 2016, so it's only been like 4 or 5 years that it's open. Because Bordeaux is very well known for its wine, I mean, the least is that it should have a wine museum, and this is Cite du Vin. This is the form of it. It has like a really special architectural form, the one you see on the top left. And what the thing is that Cite du Vin, inside it, you will not only learn about the wine of Bordeaux. It is the goal of Cite du Vin is to teach you about the culture of wine in the whole world. So when you go inside, you have different modules. It's a very digital museum. So you're not gonna go inside and have like papers where you're gonna read stuff. You don't read anything inside. It's all a digital museum. You have 3D images. You will have to use your 5 senses in order to discover the history and the culture of wine from all around the world. It's a very beautiful museum. Like it took years in order to really do all these modules inside it. As you see in the pictures to the right, to the top right, you have places where you can smell all the different smells of wine. Let's say you have places where you can sit and see the vineyards of all over the world. You have also modules where you will visit ancient civilizations of wine, like 5,000 years ago in Egypt, 3,000 years ago in Greece, and many other modules. You can also your knowledge in wine, like do interviews with people, like you have a quiz with 15 questions. At the end, you will see how many questions did you get right and how many did you get wrong. It's a very nice museum where you can spend the whole day. So basically, I'll just tell you, I know all this stuff because I work in Cite du Vin. So basically, we usually tell people that they need about 2.5 hours or 3 hours to visit. But if you spend the whole day, you can also stay there because there are lots of content inside. And what's nice, the thing that people love the most is when they finish their tour of the permanent exhibition, you can go up to what we call the Belvedere. It's the pictures here bottom, and basically here you have a very amazing view of Bordeaux, and you get to taste 1 glass of wine. Usually there are 10 or 12 choices of wine. You choose one of them, and you get to taste 1 glass of wine while you are looking at this beautiful view of Bordeaux. So this is the Cite du Vin. Next place that you can visit or you must visit, this is a place that is very dear to my heart, let's say, it's called Darwin. What is Darwin? Darwin, as you see to the top left picture, where it's written Darwin, these buildings used to be in the past a military base. While the story of Darwin is a bit long, I'm not going to tell you all about it. But it was abandoned at some point, and there was this guy whose name is Philippe Barr who bought the whole buildings and transformed this area into, it's like Darwin is like a city inside a city. It's the alternative place of Bordeaux. So Darwin, inside it, you have a co-working space where you have about 200 startups that are working. You have the biggest organic restaurant of France that is in Darwin. Basically, it serves about 20,000 plates every month. And Darwin is also an ecology. It's also an ecosystem. So basically, you have like all these solar panels. Darwin does not take electricity from Électricité de France. And there are lots of concerts that happen in Darwin, lots of music concerts, lots of events, lots of ecological events. And in addition to all this, there's a big skate park. There are lots of associations, and there are also there's also an alternative high school where students do not study with books like normal high schools. it's a high school where they are, let's say, testing new ways of teaching. So it's an alternative high school, just like Darwin. So this is why I always say that Darwin is like a city inside a city. When you go inside, it's like you are in a different world. Very beautiful. I just love this place a lot. I worked there for 10 months ago. I did my internship actually. One of my the things that I did during my internship is do the guided tours of Darwin. So there were like guided tours for 1 hour and a half, where we tell the whole story of this place. And this picture to the bottom right, I put it because I love it a lot. I'm here in the middle. It was the picture. It was a guided tour that I did for architects who came from the Netherlands. They came from the Netherlands to Bordeaux just to visit Darwin, actually. So it was really a nice guided tour. And yeah, I have some really amazing souvenirs in this place, and it's a must visit. So now we go to the Miroir d'eau, which is like where the tourists come at first. Miroir d'eau is like water mirror. So basically, as the name says it, it's a water mirror actually. So it was opened in 2006. The idea behind it is that if you see this, this square behind it, I'm going to show it to you a bit later, which is this one, Place de la Bourse. This is like the most beautiful square of Bordeaux. So the mayor, Alain Juppé, wanted to give more importance to this square. So they decided to do the Miroir d'eau, because in this case, you will have the reflection of the square on the water mirror. So it's like it doubles the importance and the beauty of the square. And the most beautiful time to visit it is surely at night. As you can see, the picture to the top left is so amazing when you go at night and see the reflection with all the lights. So this is the water mirror. And facing it, there is Place de la Bourse that I told you about. This is it's like the most beautiful square of Bordeaux. In the middle of it, you have this fountain with the three graces. And these statues of graces, it is said that they represent the daughters of the god Zeus. So you have Alea, Aglaia, and Euphrosyne. This is what I heard. I guess it's true. But anyway, this is one of the most beautiful squares of Bordeaux. Now we go to one of important landmark, which is the Grand Theatre, that is a must visit. It was built back in 1780. The most amazing and important time to visit this Grand Theatre is at night, because as you see how beautiful it is when it is fully lit, and at the same time you will see all these beautiful statues, all lit. Is really beautiful. All these statues are statues of goddesses. This is what I learned actually, and that represent art and beauty. Unfortunately, it is not permitted to go inside the theater. So the only way to visit the Grand Theatre on the inside is to buy a ticket and see a concert. Otherwise, you can only see it from the outside. However, there's also another solution, is that you can take a guided tour with the Tourism Office of Bordeaux. They do from time to time guided tours inside the Grand Theatre. I'm not sure how much does it cost or when do they do it, but if you are really interested, when you visit Bordeaux, you can contact the Tourism Office and they can give you all information about the tours in the Grand Theatre. Now we move to, to one important like, let's say, place of Bordeaux or street, which is called Street Sainte Catherine. Why is it so important? Because this street is the longest shopping street in the whole of Europe. The length is about 1,250 meters, which is like more than 1 kilometer. And also, it has more than 250 shops inside. So basically, it's like a huge mall, but an outdoor mall. So you have all the big known, shops like Zara, like H&M, all this stuff. And also you have cafes, you have restaurants, you have bars, you have everything. It's a street that goes in the middle of Bordeaux. So wherever you are going, you're going to have to pass by the street. And well, now we are in lockdown and confinement, but usually during normal days, this is how the street looks like, thousands and thousands of people inside it. So it's like the longest shopping street in Europe. And just to give you for the story, why is it called Sainte Catherine? Because in the past, there was a church inside this street that was built in the year 1048. The name of this church was Sainte Catherine. This church does not exist anymore today, but the street still carries the name of this church. One other monument to visit is the monument that we call Monument aux Girondins. Just for the story, also during the French Revolution, there were many problems between different political parties in France, and this monument was built in 1904 as a homage for the Bordeaux political party. That just tell you, because the political party of Bordeaux did not want at the time to, after the French Revolution, to follow Paris. They did not want in a way that Paris remains the capital of France. There were lots of problems. I'm not going to go into details, but this is like for the Bordelais, for the people who live in Bordeaux, this monument is very, very important for them. And on top of this monument, you have this lady that for them represents liberty. So it's a must visit, like for whenever you visit Bordeaux. Now we go to the Stone Bridge, which is like also a beautiful place to see. Also at night, you can take amazing pictures here. So the Stone Bridge is a bridge that connects the left bank of Bordeaux with the right bank of Bordeaux. Now the Stone Bridge is, cars are forbidden to go there. So there's only tramway and bicycles and like walking people, they can go on this bridge. This bridge was built in 1819 by Napoleon Bonaparte. And I'm going to tell you a funny story about it, because if you count, you know, all these arcs on the bridge, down the bridge, there are all in all 17 arcs. And why there are 17 arcs? And this is, let's say, the funny story. Because in the name, Napoleon Bonaparte, there are 17 letters. So basically, Napoleon wanted a letter, one arc for each letter of his name. And it is said, the architect at the time told him that if we do less arcs, we can finish the work faster. But he didn't accept. He wanted an arc for each letter of his name. So the bridge took a lot of time to make, but anyway, it was made eventually. So 17 arcs for the 17 letters of Napoleon Bonaparte. Other than this, we have this this bridge that is called Pont Chabon-Delmas, which is like amazing engineering invention, let's say. So it's also a bridge that connects the left bank to the right bank of Bordeaux. Here, cars can pass. However, cruise ships can also pass, because now Bordeaux is a touristic city. So during summer, you have all these huge cruise touristic ships that come to Bordeaux, and they spend 2 days and then they leave. So in order for the cruise ships to arrive and to be able to enter to Bordeaux, this bridge was made, like you see it, it goes up, the ship passes underneath it, and then it goes down again for the cars to be able to pass. So it's a really huge engineering invention. And it was like, it took, the works began from 2009 and it was opened in 2012. One of the main also landmarks to visit in Bordeaux is Cathedral Saint-André. It's the biggest cathedral of Bordeaux. It was built back in 1440 approximately. The interior of it is so amazing, and the exterior of it, it's a really huge cathedral, and inside it, like it was all renovated, like after 1995, because inside it was all black, but now they renovated most of its part. And as you can see here in this picture, I'm gonna go to the next one. You have this tower. It's called Tour Péberlan. So this tower is a tower where there's the bell actually of the church. And just to give you a quick information, in Bordeaux, most of the cathedrals have their bells in towers aside. The bells are not in the same building as the cathedral. Why is that? Because as I told you in the beginning when I was talking about the public transportation, that underneath Bordeaux there is water. So the soil, land is not very, it's a bit fragile. So in the past, they were afraid that when the bell rings, let's say, yeah, it would create vibrations and it would fall or become dangerous for the cathedral. So this is why the bell was always in a tower aside and not in the same building as the cathedral. So this tower here, which is called Tour Péberlan, you can go up. There are all in all 233 steps. And when you go up, as you can see the picture to the left, there is an amazing view where you can see all of Bordeaux. It's really beautiful, and you can have a closer view to the statue of the Virgin Mary and Jesus. It's really, I mean, it's worth it. I went up 2 times. The first time I went up all by myself, and the second time I had a friend who came to Bordeaux, so we went up together. It's really nice, and yeah, 233 steps, but it's worth it for this amazing view. And also here, there's something called the Basso Marine. It's a submarine base. It's a base that was built during the Second World War and during the German occupation of Bordeaux. So, excuse me. So this base was built for submarines, as the name says it. And because just tell you that the river, like around the river of Bordeaux, is a very deep river. It's not like the river La Seine in Paris. In Bordeaux, there used to be submarines during the World War that in La Garonne, and used to arrive to this submarine base. So as you know, now it became abandoned, and now it was transformed into a museum. And nowadays there's a big like exhibition inside it called Bassin de Lumière, where you can go visit for 1 hour. You will see all this projection of lights, of arts, of paintings with beautiful music all the time. It's really like magical. I visited it like 2 months ago. It's like you teleport into a completely different world. It's so magical. Now, of course, it's closed because of the COVID, but hopefully soon it will reopen, and it's really an amazing place to visit. And as I told you, Bordeaux was a fortified city in the past. So since it was a fortified city, so there were like huge gates in order to go inside the city. And this gate that you see here, Caillou, is one of them. This was the main gate to go inside the city. So all the merchandises that arrived to Bordeaux used to come inside the city from this gate. Now, well, it's a touristic place, of course. You can go inside this Porte Caillou. You pay, I think, about €3 or €4, and you can visit all the inside of it. It was built back in 1495, and it's so beautiful because inside it you have all the archives and ancient writings that they used to use. So you can see how they used to use, how people used to be inside this Porte Caillou, because it used to be like a place where they defended the city. So there used to be soldiers inside. So it's a place that is really a must visit. So this is one of the gates that are remaining from when Bordeaux was a fortified city. Another gate is this one that is called La Grosse Cloche, or the Big Bell, as you see. Just tell you that this bell here weighs about 8 tons. So basically, I think this is why it's called the Big Bell. And also there are guided tours for inside it. Not like Porte Caillou. Porte Caillou, the one we saw before, you can just go visit all by yourself. However, this one, the Big Bell, you have to book a guided tour, and they take you inside and they explain to you everything about this gate. And about the gate. And for now, just tell you that this bell, they don't use it anymore. It's only on the 4th of July, but otherwise, yeah, we don't hear this bell anymore nowadays. Okay. And now we arrive to one of my favorite places in Bordeaux. It's a must visit for all of you who like culture, movies, really nice movies, deep movies, all this stuff. So this place is called Topia. So if you go to if you see the picture to the bottom left, this building is where Topia is. This building used to be a church in the past that was called Saint-Simon, but then like it was abandoned, and some association bought it and transformed it into a cinema, but not a normal cinema. So here you are not going to see all the commercial movies, Transformers, Avengers, all this stuff. You're not going to see them here. Here you are going to see all the ancient movies that really have meanings, movies in black and white, movies that are not really known, but that are really good. For me, before the lockdown, before the COVID, I used to go there every 2 weeks to watch a movie. And I watched like some seriously movies from the 50s, from the 60s, sometimes in Spanish, sometimes in English, sometimes in French, that are really nice, that no one talks about, that people don't know about them, because at the time they didn't have the budget to market them, for example. And every month, you see here in the middle, they publish they call it a gazette, like a journal, where they put the planning for all the movies that they're going to show for the next month. So when you go inside it, here's a picture to the top right. You see there's now like a cafe and restaurant where you can eat, have a drink, or whatever you want, and then you can go buy your ticket and go inside the the cinema to watch the movie. I like it a lot because it's not a normal cinema. You get to watch movies you don't get to watch them in any other place. So it's called Utopia, and for me it's a must visit for anyone who comes to Bordeaux. It's a really special place. And here I just because there are lots, as I told you, there are lots of places that you can visit in the city. So I did a bit of compilations. There's also the Cathedral of San Michels that was built approximately in the 1400s. It's a very amazing place to visit. And also Bordeaux has many other museums other than the museum and other than the Cite du Vin. You have, for example, the Musée d'Aquitaine. Just to explain to you is that Bordeaux is a city, so you have the region that is called Aquitaine. Inside it, you have a department called Gironde, and then you have Bordeaux. So Musée d'Aquitaine is a museum that tells you the whole story of the whole region of Aquitaine from the old times until today. It's really amazing, really beautiful. I visited once and I spent many hours inside. It's worth the visit. You have another museum called CAPC, Musée des Arts Contemporains. You have Musée des Arts Décoratifs. So it's just to show you that there are really lots and lots of museums that you can visit in the city. So these were like the most important landmarks to visit in Bordeaux when you are in the city. So now, now I just want to show you a video first that shows Bordeaux a bit. Let me just put it in full screen. Actually, because this video is only 2 minutes. So now after we saw all the places to visit in Bordeaux, I'm going to talk a bit about the typical things if you want to try in Bordeaux to eat. So let's begin now with what we call here in Bordeaux the canelé. Basically, the canelé is a history of Bordeaux. So wherever you go in the streets, like in the street of Sainte Catherine or any other streets, you will find lots of shops that sell this canelé. You will see like big vitrines where you will only see these canelé. It's like a special thing in Bordeaux. It's as certain here, it's the dome cake flavored with vanilla and rum. I mean, people usually like it. I'm gonna be honest. For me, it's okay. For me, it's not something I like a lot. But I mean, it's not bad. But I mean, it's a personal point of view. But lots of people like it, and usually you'll have to wait in line in order to buy them. It's a specialty here in Bordeaux. So whenever you are here and you want a souvenir to someone, you can grab a box of canelé. Other than this, you have the macaron. I think many of you heard of the macarons that you see here to the right of the picture, but these macarons are the ones that you find in Paris. Bordeaux, In Saint-Emilion, the villages nearby, there are different types of macaron that are the ones here in the big picture. It's only like there are macarons that are made only with eggs, sugar, and almond flour. It is said that it's a recipe that was invented by nuns in Saint-Emilion, in this wine village, back in 1620. And so you can find many shops that sell this macaron in Bordeaux, but most of them are in Saint-Emilion. So if you really want to buy the good macarons, the best ones, in my opinion, it's better to go to Saint-Emilion and get boxes of Saint-Emilion of macaron there. And the third thing are, of course, everything related to seafood. If you are a seafood lover like I am here, you will be so happy in Bordeaux, because as I told you, Bordeaux is so close to the ocean. So we have lots of places, Arcachon, Cap Ferret, Médoc, where we have oysters, we have shrimps, everything. So basically, here you can find lots of restaurants where you can eat oysters, shrimps, or any other seafood. And plus, in addition to this, on the weekends, there are many areas squares in Bordeaux where they do like markets that are open only during weekends. And in these markets, you can find stands or kiosks where you can take like oysters and eat them. It's really nice. And for me, I love them a lot. I love seafood, and wherever you go, like if you are in Arcachon, Cap Ferret, or even the regions I showed you before, like Bayonne, Biarritz, all this area are very well known with seafood. If you are a food lover, you will find everything you want in Bordeaux. And now, of course, Bordeaux is a wine city, very well known for wine. As I told you in the beginning, even though I work in Cite du Vin, but I'm not the best person to tell you about wine, because I work in the marketing department. So basically, I cannot really explain wine to you. So this is why I'm going to show you a video of 3 minutes, and I think it's going to explain everything about Bordeaux wine for you. Just a second that I copy this link. Let's put it here.
Bordeaux has long been home to iconic names like Médoc, Pomerol, Saint-Emilion, Pauillac, Margaux, Sauternes, and Cognac, all of them located within a short distance of each other. Thanks to unique natural elements, including rivers, elevation changes, and a wide range of soils, winemaking has thrived here, resulting in remarkable red wines, white wines, sweet wines, and other aperitifs and digestives. Bordeaux is usually thought of in terms of left bank and right bank, referring to their location along the Gironde River. The left bank is home to the Médoc region, which at one time was swampy marshland. This is red wine country, where tasty Cabernet Sauvignon and Merlot grapes enhance wines from Pauillac, Saint-Julien, and Margaux. The vineyards are influenced by the warm waters of the Gironde estuary, southeasterly exposure, and soil that is a mix of soft clay and gravel. It's a rare combination that has delivered Bordeaux's most desired wines. Still on the left bank, but to the south, is the Ghav region. Its red wines were sought after long before Médoc existed, and it's said that US President Thomas Jefferson had a special fondness for wine from one of the chateaux here. The Ghav region is also home to wonderful white wines, and the much-loved Sauternes and Barsac wines. These intensely sweet white wines are the end result of a phenomenon known as noble rot. It impacts the grapes frequently here, dehydrating them inside the skin, which increases the concentration of sugars. The 3 main grapes of this area are Semillon, Sauvignon Blanc, and Muscatel. Between the Garonne and Dordogne rivers is Entre deux mers, which means between 2 seas. This productive area is the source for the majority of Bordeaux's mainstream red wines. The right bank has its own treasures, like the Libournais region, also bordering the Dordogne River. It was first cultivated by the Romans and is home to the highly regarded Pomerol wines. The grapes here are a mix of Merlot and Cabernet Franc, and the soil is influenced by varying degrees of gravel and sand. Just next door is Saint-Emilion, named for the quaint village the vineyards surround. The other notable region includes Bourg and Blaye, situated where the Garonne and Dordogne rivers meet. It's one of the oldest wine-producing areas of Bordeaux. Merlot is the principal grape here, followed by Cabernet Sauvignon, Cabernet Franc, and Malbec. Sauvignon Blanc grapes are also grown here for use in delightful sparkling wines. While another white grape, Hugny Blanc, is transformed into cognac. Bordeaux is a diverse, beautiful region that I find fascinating. A mix of intriguing historical treasures and insights into the art of wine and joie de vivre. Whether you're a wine connoisseur or delving into the topic for the first time, Bordeaux is a destination well worth exploring.
So, as you heard, Bordeaux is a destination well worth exploring. So I think this video explained wine more than I have ever could do. So now let's go to, so this was a section about the food and the wine of Bordeaux. So now I just want to talk quickly about what I told you before about how Bordeaux became Destination pour tous. So basically, it was all thanks to this guy. So you have the guy standing is Alain Juppé, who was the mayor of Bordeaux that I told you about in 1995. And the person next to him is called Joël Solari. He was like the deputy of the mayor, and he was in charge of the people with special needs in the city. So he devoted his life into transforming Bordeaux into a city where all tourists can come and enjoy basically almost everything that has to be accessible for all kinds of people, even people with special needs. So he really devoted years of his life. I know him personally. He's a good friend of mine because when I was in the university, I did my thesis about tourism and people with special needs, and he helped me in my thesis. And with all the things he did, this is how Bordeaux was chosen in France as Destination pour tous, which means destination for everybody. Of course, there are still things to do. It's not perfect, but everything. There are lots of initiatives that are being put to work. And as you can see, all the public transportation in Bordeaux are accessible with people in wheelchairs, and also you have all the sidewalks of Bordeaux, same thing for them. And we have lots of maps in Bordeaux that are in Braille language for people who cannot see. So here later on I'm gonna share with you a link. You can watch it. It's a channel. I highly recommend that you follow them on YouTube if you want. It's called Anguilol. It's about two brothers. One of them is on a wheelchair, and basically they travel the whole world just to see every city if it's accessible for people in wheelchair or not. And they do a video about every one of these cities. So I highly recommend, because I think this is an important subject that we don't talk much about. So this is how Bordeaux is a destination for everybody. Now, the bonus part, which is the last part of our presentation, is the things you can do in nature around Bordeaux. So just tell you that Bordeaux is surrounded by all these villages, but not only this. Very close to Bordeaux, you can find amazing places where you can do hiking, or also you can ride a bike and do any other activities that you like. So these pictures, for example, I took them when I was doing a hiking in an area called Lormont, where you only have to take the tramway for 20 minutes from Bordeaux. So imagine 20 minutes in a tramway, you will feel as if you left the city completely. And if you see this picture to the top right, this is where you see Bordeaux. Here you can see the wine city. Here you can see the bridge that goes up and down. But it's a very amazing hiking trail that you can walk for 2 or 3 hours. This was the first hike I do around Bordeaux. I enjoyed it a lot. Second thing is that you can go do hiking for the Atlantic Ocean, and this is what I did 2 months ago. It was a bit of a weird hike because you had to walk along this path for like 3 hours. There are no shops, there were no one, but it was a good experience. And this one was only 30 minutes from Bordeaux. You can arrive to this area and do this hiking. Same thing, there's a region called Blanquefort where there's a beautiful and amazing park called Parc Majolan, which is written here. You see all the pictures of this park. Here I went with a group of people to do the hiking, and it's only 25 minutes by tramway from Bordeaux. So all this just to show you that around Bordeaux, if you don't want to leave the city, there are lots of hiking and natural activities in nature that you can do. This is one of the things I love about being in Bordeaux. Same thing, if you like to ride bikes, there are lots of cycling lanes that you can take and visit amazing villages all around. So I guess this was it. So yeah, this was it for my presentation of Bordeaux. I hope you liked it, and I just want to finish with one last message before we begin taking all your questions. Is that for my YouTube channel, I'm always searching. I'm someone who really loves to listen to people's stories and hear their stories and to discuss with them about different subjects. So really, if you want to connect with me to discuss any subjects, to talk about stories that you'd like to share, inspirational story or anything else, I will give you all my contacts, Facebook, WhatsApp, anything. I would love to connect with you and you can see what you can do together in the future. So this was my presentation. I hope you liked it, and yeah, I'm gonna